I think you just messaged me saying, like, hey, dude, I'm doing this thing, whatever, just one day, just a bit of fun, whatever. We're going to shoot on a high 8. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Cool. I'm going to go to that. Sound fun. Here we are now.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Critcast with the Critcast. I thought you'd frozen then, Josh. I was just sorry. We'll keep this in. Yes, welcome to episode 3. I'm William J. Wallace, let's say creator of Crit. It is very much a team effort, but I guess I was the originator if you want a bit of context on who I am. Bit of context on our guest today. We have Josh Kelly-Jones, the star of Crit, the lead character. He plays Brian, protagonist, and well, where to start, Josh? I suppose, first of all, I should let the people know this might go a little off the rails because me and you usually have some pretty wild conversations.
We just derail life. That's what we do.
Yeah, and I probably keep in touch with you more than anyone in the crew, really, I would say. We're often on the phone or playing games, whatever, I mean.
This is very true. We do tend to keep in the loop with stuff and everything.
Yeah. We'll get a bit to grips with how me and you got to know each other, but the thing I guess I wanted to point out up front is that, a lot of people are familiar with the film, are very familiar with you because you're obviously always on set, pretty much every scene in the film, and we'll go into the difficulty in putting you through that kind of schedule. And also a lot of people who become a part of the project are through you as well. You're very much out there recruiting the troops and representing the project a lot of the time. But for people who don't know us as, the Crit Gang, I guess you're probably the person they're most interested in being, like I say, this kind of lead character in the film. It is obviously a core group of people, but it really is Brian's story, certainly from my perspective. And I thought it'd be a great chance for people to get to know you a little bit because you haven't, much like me until the last episode, the bonus episode, you haven't done an interview in the Crit scene yet. So in terms of that, I guess this is a good chance for us to go on the record. I wanted to start by saying, obviously, obviously your main role in this film is acting. A lot of us do act, but we multitask, and I've always tried to keep you focused on the role rather than giving you too much to work with. But You didn't come to the project from acting, and I know it's not necessarily the main thing you want to focus on in life, although you have done a lot of roles in between the start of the project and now. So I'm struggling to interview today. But maybe you could speak about that a little bit.
No, it's cool. It's cool. No, yeah, no, you're right. Like acting wasn't like my first kind of thing, and I apologize, by the way, if there's noise in the background. I'm with like friends and stuff, but yeah, it's okay.
So we don't any screams, we won't say anything.
I mean, we'll just continue like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
There's no conjuring. There's no sacrifice. No, yeah. Because we met just like we met Mikhail. We met on Faithless and stuff, and I was I believe you mentioned it in the last one. I was a trainee. You were first AC. I mean, there's nothing really much else to say than what you guys have already addressed.
This is the thing. I know a lot of times when we talk about how people join the team, we are going to kind of repeat the same story. But there is obviously, I think it's worth going over a little bit, especially in your case, because as you said, we both met on Faithless, which is where the kind of project really. There was ideas before that, but it's where the team started. And I think the film and the project really is about the unique team that we have for it. We were both in the camera department. I'm curious, like, what you'd done prior to Faithless, because Faithless was, of course, directed and produced by your Uncle Steve. So
that's right.
Were you just? I'm not actually too familiar with what your experience of film was before Faithless. Were you studying it?
So no, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything. I wanted to be a concept artist originally, when I was going through school and stuff, and going through college and stuff, I just found out that, you know what, I'm not good at drawing. I'm not good at doing this shit. So I ended up kind of, as a lot of people do when they're doing something and they figure out like, oh, this ain't for me. And then they're kind of lost. So I had no intention in going into movies or film or had any sort of. I mean, of course, I love them because my other uncle Adrian would just show me all these wicked,
I do want to talk about
movies.
Adrian later as well, because he's been a really important
Yeah,
figure in your life
dude.
as well, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
So we'll definitely get to that, especially when we talk about
influences.
Ethan and stuff. But yeah.
Definitely. But anyway, but yeah,
Sorry to cut you
no.
off.
Steve was actually the first person to, just asked me if I wanted to come on as a runner on one of his. I think it was his first short, called the Egg Existing. I think the title is. It was the first kind of exposure to things. It was. I mean, I wasn't doing really much because I didn't really know what to do. I was just told, all right, you stay there and watch the gear. And it's like, cool, okay, I'll be here. Like, with nothing but a DSLR, and I just kind of got bored, or my ADHD just kind of went away, and I just picked up the camera, started shooting stuff, just photographs, like. But Steve just eventually got me on more and more stuff, and I started to kind of garner an interest from there, just as a runner, but seeing especially seeing how camera work is done.
So a natural progression to being a camera trainee on Faithless, then, like we said, we met. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And
so, how about I don't mean to cut you off, but there's so much to talk about here. I'm trying to streamline a little bit. I realize I've structured this awfully so far, but the start's a great place to start. What was your background in acting prior to Faithless? Did you done drama in school or anything like that?
Not really. I did. I mean, okay, I lie. I did like a few drama stuff. I've always been a very, I guess animated person. Like regardless, I didn't. It wasn't like I wanted to be an actor, or good lord, if I even call myself that. But just I just no, stop. I like to call myself an animated character. That's what I aspire to be.
You're certainly a personality, Josh. If that's what you're.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Call me pretentious. Whatever.
But I think you kind of alluded to a point there that kind of is common ground with all of the Crit Gang, especially when you said that you wanted to be a concept artist and kind of fell into doing film. I think a lot of us are people who've tried out our hand of a lot of things, trying to find the place we fit in. I think that's quite common just generally in the 21st century with young people, but especially creatives. Like it is weird to pin yourself into one thing, especially when it's very hard to find success in the first thing you try your hand at these days. There's so much competition. There's not always as much guidance as we'd like. I mean, obviously it's great you had your uncle to point you in a certain direction, which has done well for you. But yeah, so you'd done a bit of acting, but it wasn't really anything you hung your hat on or anything, I guess it's fair to say.
Yeah, and then I mean, and obviously through Crit and just doing all that stuff, it was then Cameron asking me if I wanted to be in this cowboy thing, which was fun.
Yeah, the amount of roles you've done since we started shooting Crit is pretty impressive.
God, I was mad, dude. I was doing I think 4 projects or something in like the month of April of 2019, including that Crypt TV thing, or the Cat Monster or something. That was fun. That was hilarious. What was it? Mikhail mentioned the audition thing. Yeah, that was really funny. It was like I was on the bus or something on my way to somewhere. I couldn't tell you where, but I was on the way to where the audition was going to be, and then I just get the call from Mikhail saying, hey, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? And it's like blah blah blah. We got an audition. You want to come over? And it's just like, so I just went over.
Was this the one Mikhail mentioned last time where they were looking for someone who's an American accent?
That's it. That's the one. Yeah.
I guess that's something to clear up, actually, people who don't know you as well. It's not an affectation, your accent. I've had a few people who don't know our friend circle assume that we were having our lead actor put an American accent to try and get that kind of American teen movie vibe, but you are...
Oh, really?
You were born in South Carolina, North Carolina? South Carolina.
No.
You weren't
born there. I was born in Belfast, Ireland, and then
born in Ireland.
I moved... Yeah, and then I moved to South Carolina, Charleston, when I was 3. So
Okay.
my accent's just everywhere. I had a little tiny, Northern Irish accent when I was still living in Ireland, of course. And then, it's just that it's this. I'm still in development at a young age, so you pick up the other things. So
So it is
I mean,
something I
there's
was
some,
never conscious
yeah,
of when we put you in the film. I never really thought about it, but it seems to have been a bit of a
just
thing for some people.
just be you, mate. Just do.
Obviously, when we first worked together, we already talked about you acting in something I was working on. That was like maybe day 2 or 3 of Faithless, where we were literally working our butts off in the camera department. So I'm trying to think how that happened. You must have. Maybe it was just that I was so used to working with non-actors that I saw something in you and thought you'd be great as an actor, or I'm assuming you probably did mention something about acting at the time.
Don't know. I think we were. I mean, I maybe we had a conversation about acting,
Mm,
and then we were talking about because my so my approach to acting, coming from not coming from like a school or a whatever, is that it's it's I don't I to not sound too pretentious, I just understand what an emotion needs,
mm,
like, but I also understand, like, by watching people how they do it. It's like, I mean, it's in a way I'm copying, but at the
mm.
same time it's more like I'm just getting influenced by, you know I don't know, 10 different, like, say, death scenes, and picking parts
Hmm.
of each of those scenes. Things
Quite
like
a
that. Like,
practical way of going about things, isn't it?
okay. I mean, I was thinking about, happy-go-lucky, but whatever. But yeah, no. But at the same time, like, I also understand, like, You're working when you're an actor. Obviously you're working so close to the director. So I just when I'm listening to, I want to make sure I'm listening to the director on, like, what do you, what do you want? Like, what do you want? What do you want out of me? And just having that, like, you know working with each other, because
Yeah.
I'm working with student because also working with students, obviously most of the time it's they it's it's still early days, and probably they don't really know what exactly they do want. They have it in their
Mm.
head, can't express. So it's like, um that's why, you going through, like, all the different types of, like, I don't know, the ways of huffing and puffing, and I don't
You
know,
just got
like,
to give them lots of options and stuff, I guess.
precisely, yeah, and deliverance of, like, words and everything. But
I was going to get to this a bit later, but I suppose it's worth
yeah,
us talking about how we've worked together as director and actor. And obviously, a lot of the time we
for
are
sure.
acting alongside each other as well. Um, but it has been an amazing experience for me working with you on Crit as an actor. And you know me, like, I'm very passionate about my work on this project, but I don't
Oh,
necessarily have ambitions of being like a professional working director or anything. It's nothing I feel incredibly strongly about in that sense. I'm very passionate about making my film, our film, with everybody, with my vision leading it most of the way. Um, but certainly, shooting scenes with you has given me a lot of gratification as a director, and a lot of bit more pride in my ability, because I know there's been a lot of times where, I mean, hell, we've put you through it on this film. We've talked about that a lot. Like, it's
yeah,
been
it's so
tough
fun.
work, but there's times when we've had a scene where 9 times out of 10, working with Josh Jones, he will read it, run it once or twice, and nail it. But the times where it's been a little bit harder to get the performance, we've had to work together for it. I think that's been a really, really awesome thing to be able to do as a collaboration. I'm thinking of maybe when we did. There's an emotional scene, sort of 3/4 of the way through the film, the all is lost moment with you in a park, with the bits of the
I was
robot,
thinking the same. I was thinking the same thing.
which was it was a tough
We were
shoot
there
because
for, like, yeah, we were there for, like, hours,
yeah, we
or not
got up
hours.
at
I would
we
say
got up at
hours.
4 a.m. for that. Do you remember? Because it was hottest day of summer, and we had Matt in this sweatpants robot suit. So we were like, one, we want to shoot in a
Oh
kids
man.
kids park, and we haven't got permission. And two, it's so hot that if we go there and shoot at sunrise until like 9 was the idea. I think we finished about 10:30.
Mhm.
Remember, there's some people in the park, and they were actually quite okay with us, but we did look very,
Yeah, you're chill.
very creepy. But yeah, could get away with that in Wimborne, maybe not in a city or something. Um, but yeah, and yeah, so it was a tough shoot because we had very little sleep, very early start. and we were just trying to get it done before it got hot. But I remember that was a particular scene where one that comes to mind where we had to push. I mean, the other scene is outside the corner shop, because that was just a really hard shoot. We still had a lot of issues with the camera dying every 5 seconds, and we had to
Gyppos, a lot of gypsies.
Yeah, but yeah, there's I look back at those very fondly because there were times when we had to work for the performance, and I was obviously very used to you just having it naturally. I think you did, or generally playing Brian. You must have had a pretty strong idea about the character from first reading it, I guess, or was it something you could just relate to?
He's no, like, I mean, you said it before. He is the underdog character. He's the relatable guy. To be honest, like, I mean, when we did the short, you just said, okay, you're gonna play Brian, this kind of like sore loser in a D&D game because you keep rolling ones, right? Frickin' ones, stupid, whatever.
That was fun to shoot. But I'm thinking again back to Faithless. We were talking about you acting in something with me then. I was pretty being that typical bad crew member talking about my own projects at lunch break or something, which I always try to avoid. But we'd obviously hit it off so much about movies and stuff. And back then, this is obviously before Crit, so I was still thinking about getting my slasher movie off the ground. Do you remember this?
Oh, dude.
I'd originally spoken to you because my initial impression of you, which I've said gone on the record saying before, is that I just felt like you could have a huge amount of sympathy as a character or an underdog character. So we had a role in the script I was working with a friend that was like the youngest gang member, basically, who, you know, the prospect who gets picked on. And I thought that would suit you very well. So when we came around to the actual idea of Crit, which obviously came from that D&D table scene where it was just, like you say, a sore loser in a D&D game, when we built into a real character, it just seemed like a natural fit based on how I'd already kind of brainstormed you as a character, you know.
He was no, he's a nice guy. You know, I'd hang out with Brian. I'd probably not kick his ass, but, you know, tell him to lighten up a bit sometimes. Yeah.
He's got lessons to learn, hasn't he?
Lots of lessons to learn. Yeah. Which again,
we can relate to.
Exactly, he's a great character to, you know, look at and be like, oh, it's kind of like me in my childish thoughts.
Definitely. Like, so you mentioned being handed the character, but how did I approach you about coming down to the shoot in the first place? Did I personally invite you? I think I personally invited a few people, but everyone else was just open invitation, right?
Did you ask me?
I don't remember. I'm assuming I did, because we'd already hit it off, and I definitely wanted you there.
Yeah, I think
Faye was more of a surprise.
Hmm.
I wasn't necessarily expecting Faye to come down as much, because we hadn't spent as much time together, because we didn't work in the same department or anything.
Yeah. Well, I guess you did message me. I think you just messaged me saying, like, you know, hey, dude, I'm doing this thing, whatever, just one day, just a bit of fun, whatever. We're going to shoot on a high 8. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Cool. I'm going to go to that. Sounds fun. Here we are now.
I know it's hard to look back on it fondly now, but what are your memories of the original shootout?
No, perfect. It was really fun. It was honestly like a really good day. I think I genuinely look back on it a lot. I grow love for it more and more each day, because it was just such a nice like day to just go out and shoot with. I mean, practically people we've only just met. Like, I've only met you like that one time, and I've probably met Faye once on Faithless, and
so there's 3 other people that you'd never met, obviously.
And then there's exactly
one of those being Matt, who is still with us on most shoots. So it's the start of something. I've gone completely blank. What was I going to say? We've gone this whole time talking about you as a film fan, as a crew member, and an actor. And obviously, you are still interested in acting, right? I want to work with you again as an actor after this. I'm sure you've got a lot more range in you than Brian. But you're also a filmmaker, and you're also working towards, is it DP'ing you're more interested now, ultimately, as a career, or are you still keeping your options open? Because you DP'ed a feature film recently, right? Which is insane.
I did. I did do a feature.
How are we not even talking about that? That's like a ridiculous achievement for someone as young as you.
It is a ridiculous achievement. Yeah. It was a okay. No. the Monochrome Man crew. You're all absolute fucking heroes and machines, and we
You seem to
did.
surround yourselves with awesome groups of people wherever you go, like, and I think that says a lot
Yeah,
about you
I
because
mean,
I just been transferring the Clunk footage and I can see you in the behind the scenes of that just with so much energy and everybody has their down days, but I think having you on set is always a good sign of a good crew. You know what I mean? So it's amazing the little pockets of seeing you kind of drift around. There's no like
mm,
jealousy from the Crit Gang. We'd like to see everybody doing everything everywhere, and you seem to have got your fingers in a lot of pies right now with acting and DPing and ACing and all of these things.
well, I mean, like you said, I want to keep things open. I do generally like meeting people too, just
Mm.
generally talking, and collaborating and stuff. Like, but yeah, no, but Monochrome Man was like I just moved to Bristol. I just met some like post grads, but it's just getting into the scene. It's just like, okay, I'm here. I should go for it. I should just get into it. And then comes along Monochrome Man. Nathan, the director's name is. He's written this 80-page script. He wants to shoot it in 2 weeks.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? When it comes to Crit. 2 years would have been nice for Crit.
It would have been nice, but to be fair, but like the scale of what Monochrome Man is, when you're reading for the script, it's super self-contained. So it's like there's only 3 major locations, and the rest is just like is just out and about, like in just pockets of things.
See, I can't write something like that and make it interesting. I have to throw in like the kitchen sink, I have to have robots
Exactly.
in 100 locations.
And a massive scientist like laboratory and everything. Precisely. But yeah, no. So I met up with Nathan. And, we're just going through the scripts and everything. No, it was a really fun filming experience. It was unfortunately not planned, but through the, I guess, the spontaneous nature of it, it was, there was this kind of flight or what's the term?
Fight or flight.
Like fight or flight. Yeah, there's like that sort of thing. So we would. So
because I remember you telling me early on, because you wanted me to
Yeah.
come down and help out, but I was working. I think I wasn't able to come, sadly. But I
think
remember you
so,
saying like
yeah.
those first few days when you realized how unplanned and unprepared it was, and you had to take the director aside and like come up with a strategy to be able to keep control of the shooting, I guess.
That's it. Yeah. So we just sat down. We were just kind of like, we were in like it must have been like day 3 or something like that, and we were just a little bit behind. So we just spent like a good hour just kind of just going through like 1, 2, 3, like, so tomorrow what we're gonna do and everything. I mean, it was his first feature, and he did a really good job. Like once everything, and especially adapt.
Shout out to anyone who's doing it. And we know a few people who are making feature films at uni right now, which blows my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to film school assuming
crazy.
we would do that. At the end, we'd all make a feature film, but it was like, no, you make your like 10-minute movie and with no money. So okay, thanks. But yeah, it's impressive.
But anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, it was great because everybody chipped in. It would just be everyone from. It would just be like me mostly on camera, but it would be the gaffer on sound, or I'll be on sound or something like that, and like because there's just a lot of maneuvering. We'd turn up to locations, like it would just be Nathan just saying, oh yeah, I know a place that's around here. It's like the evening time, lights are on and everything, and it's like, okay, yeah, I think this would be good, and it's just like, all right, I got a light. It's like, oh, it's okay. We don't need a light. We don't need to light this location. It's like, just like, watch me. It's like I go and I just set up just
familiar.
just a roughly like a 3-shot lighting thing.
3-point light setup.
Whatever. It worked. I mean,
that's the important thing.
It looked good. And sure enough, I did that in like 20 minutes or something like that, and then we managed to get really nice. It's a noir, black and white film, and we're shooting it on a micro cinema camera by Blackmagic, which it works because it works out because we're not shooting in color, and the color on that thing is not really the best. There's a lot of like bludges and everything, but on like black and white you can
play with contrast.
I mean, I looked at
things like that.
Exactly, yeah. And I looked back on the footage, and some of it looks really good. I mean, I've not had any. I mean, because of how unplanned it was, it's like I haven't even had any chance to even see what's been shot or anything. So it's almost no different if I was shooting it on like film or something, and I'm looking at it like months later. So it's quite nice. It's quite gratifying.
It really helps to have that distance sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So. Sounds like a really cool project, man. I should just point out, like, the trouble with this podcast, especially for us, is like me and you could and often do talk for hours. So I'm gonna try and cram what we can in. But I think the one other thing I really want to talk about before we finish up, which should turn a few other things, is Ethan, because
oh yeah, sure.
Ethan, I think, is a fantastic film, and it really has been a project that happened alongside Crit, but was very much your own thing. I wasn't able to attend it because we were shooting Mausoleum the same day, I think. Isn't that
really?
right?
2017?
I think Faye came from Ethan to show up on set of Mausoleum. I think that's why I couldn't make it.
Oh,
yeah, so
right.
it's very much your project with an incredible group of people who, some of them are Crit Gang. Obviously, Matt Flynn is a huge part of the team. He was your lead actor in that film.
Matt Flynn.
I just think it's a spectacular short film. We showed it when we did the original Crit screening of the short film in the
yeah.
And it was also shown supporting Faithless with the Crit short, so it's always been there. Tell me a little bit about Ethan, and I know Adrian was a huge part of that for you.
Yeah. In fact, if it weren't for Adrian, it wouldn't be the film it was. Or it is. Sorry. But.
Because we should point out, Adrian's a fantastic editor.
Adrian is a fantastic editor. Like rep Adrian Cullen. Check him out. I don't know. I was like 16, I think, when I made that or something. Wow. 16, 17. I don't know. But you're just it's coming from like having history of like anxiety and depression and stuff like that, which is the theme of the movie. I just wanted to. It was almost like a bit of a journal, writing it, just kind of like what I feel. I couldn't put it into words, so I've always had a very visualized way of expressing things. That's why I wanted to draw, because I wanted to just draw like, massive like mural kind of or landscape kind of things. And so when it came to Ethan, I just wanted to show the kind of like emptiness of someone who's in such a fragile place, especially when they're really alone. So with the film being him being like near the cliff and everything, and just it's like his world is essentially just I don't know, one step closer to just either taking a step back or doing the deed.
Because it ultimately became a very visual. I mean, it was a very visual film to begin with, but it had dialogue originally, I understand, and then became a silent film, which I think adds to it, and that was partially Adrian's influence, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I tried some dialogue, and it was I mean, looking back on it, it wasn't the best. It was literally just it was a weird thing with Matt was basically talking to himself. So, and the dialogue was like the first time I wrote dialogue, so it was just garbage, and I didn't really know how to direct it. I didn't know how to do that. But Matt being an actor himself, he really portrayed the emotion very well.
Yeah.
And especially like towards
it's really
the end
it's really heart-wrenching stuff, like, and I think it comes all the more powerful because of the hypnotic rhythm of the film and just the back and forth. It feels very cyclical, which kind of speaks to the imprisonment you feel when you're stuck with those kind of mental issues. So
Of course.
yeah, I'm just very impressed by it because I mean, that was the first film you'd ever made, right?
That's the first. Yeah, it's the first film I've ever made.
And you've said to me before that you were like obviously really lucky that you had all these people who kind of leapt to the opportunity to build this crew and everything. But that, as
Yeah.
much as we have them to thank and Adrian for his, the kind of people who could refine it for your first film,
Mhm.
it does speak a lot to how much of an impression you made on those people that they want to reach out and help you. And as I said, I'm sorry
Yeah,
about
exactly.
that.
No, no, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, no, yeah, precisely. I'm very
Keep putting
lucky
words in your mouth,
to
sorry.
have everybody. No, 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 it's fine. Um, no, I was very lucky to have the people who helped me out, and I love you all, whoever watches this. Let's meet up after this. The crap stops.
Yeah,
We could go out. We could go outside, um, or come to Bristol. Let's hang out. Um, but yeah, no, I'm very lucky to have them, and it was. I mean, it took ages to edit because of course when it's your film, it's your initiative. It's either, you're the one who gets it done.
It's the wake up call, isn't it? It's post, I think, for everybody.
Yeah, dude.
And you were scoring
Yeah,
it as
dude,
well,
it
of
is.
course.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did that song for it. It
Mm.
wasn't like any. All I wanted it was just this course, sort of just the build up thing.
Mm.
Whoever listens to it, whoever watches the short, I think it still does it justice.
I think it adds to the
Into it.
rawness of it, you know. It just
Definitely.
the thing I take away from it is just it seems so heartfelt, and I think that's impressive for two reasons. One, because it's about a very topical subject, which a lot of people are talking about right now. But this didn't come across as contrived or forced or ham-fisted, and I think, like you say, partly that was because you had the decision to take some of that dialogue out that perhaps didn't speak to the message you really wanted to convey. But also just the fact that it's your first film and you said something from the heart. Like I think Crit's probably my first film that I feel is really that personal. I think everything I've done up to this point, I was just trying to do a bad version of someone else's type of film. So
Yeah.
when you showed it to me originally, which would have been was the first time I saw it,
God.
would have been at Forceman. I was just like,
I
wow, like to do this for your first film
think
is
so.
a really good sign. I really can't wait to see what you do next when you have the opportunity.
Yeah, I have ideas. I have things.
Something
To be
we kind
fair,
of skipped over that's relevant actually, as well as obviously your dyslexia when we're talking about of being a visual storyteller.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Um,
no, yeah, no, the like being, I mean, you have people everywhere from Spielberg to I think Elon Musk even is also dyslexic.
I believe so.
You
Yeah.
know, yeah, so it's I mean, it used to be an issue in my life. I used to kind of not accepted it.
Mm.
And I'm not the first, so I'm not going to be the last. But when you start to, but like anything, when you start to research into it and like educate yourself on what actually things are, you understand that this is actually quite normal, and actually this is just how you are,
Mm.
and you have to own that. So
Mm.
I guess I get, and even during writing Ethan and shooting it, I still have those. I still had those feelings. But it
What
was
feelings do you mean?
just feelings of, well, still feelings of like, can I do this?
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who worked on Ethan can tell. Like on the second day, I didn't break, but I definitely kind of just went out of my way to be a bit of a goofball and stuff. But I'm always a goofball, whoever knows me. So
You're always fun to have around. I think
yeah,
it's so lucky the team you built on Grit that we're able to work really hard and have fun together so
yeah,
consistently, you
right,
know. And
consistently.
even though we found the people who were a right fit for the kind of project it was, the fact I think we still got very lucky in the actual chemistry of the group we have works so well, you know. Um, a quick point on the dyslexia.
Yeah.
That also accounted for one of the happy accidents in the film, which is the original shootout script. Your character or your Brian's D&D character wasn't called Boran; he was called Bronan. like
Oh
Conan,
yeah.
but Bronan. It was a bad joke that I think I stole. But you always read it as Boran, and I was like, I like it. And we ran with that and fed it into your character with Brian Senna being Moran, and how it was like a kind of amalgam, and how you
I
get called
completely
moron at
forgot.
school, you know? So
I
I just thought
completely
I'd bring that
got
up as a bit of
forgot
trivia.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Jesus. Yeah, when you said that to me, I think even during the when we're shooting the short, it's like it's bro was it Broran?
Bronan, like Conan.
Bronan,
He's a
sorry,
bro.
Bronan. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bronan.
Like in Broforce, you
Boron.
know?
Boron.
I think I stole it from Broforce.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no,
Because
sorry.
when I was when, I,
So
when we
happy
were
I could
shooting that and I gave you that
context.
script, I had no idea about your dyslexia, you know. But you still gave a cracking performance, and you managed to act your way through nearly 100 pages of script so far. So it's not been an issue for you at all. Well done.
What does work say?
Anything else? We should probably wrap this up. I feel like we barely scratched the surface. But
Okay.
anything else you wanted to talk about quickly before we go? Any fond memories from the shoot, or any anything like that? Any big takeaways from working on Crit Cyber Party Massacre before we go for the fans out there, or the curious, I should say?
Be prepared, for the massacre is coming.
Okay. Thank you very much, Josh.